way to win an argument is to avoid it. Like Indra Nuri said, understand the work politics, but don't get involved in it. Don't get tempted to quit the jobs. Be very clear, set your own standards, have your own very firm thought process, and be very, very practical in taking this decision. Inside each of us lies a God in embryo. It has only one desire, it wants to be born.
We are really lucky to have Mr. Parminder Dureja with us. He's Industrial Engineering 1992 batch pass out, and sir, it is a pleasure for me also because I am also industrial engineer. And likewise, and just way more junior to you. I am Aishwarya, and I am 2010 industrial engineering pass out. And with me we have Parminder Ji. He has an extensive experience across, I would say, pharma industry. And where he started off with Nestlé, and then his journey progressed with various pharma industry big giants. To quote some of them, it would be Ranbaxy, Glenmark, Serum, and he had played a pivotal role during the COVID times, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Where we all were struggling for the vaccines, and he was the man who was making sure that one of the man who was making sure that the entire procurement of all these raw material and needed parts are available and are being done. So welcome, sir.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you so much. First of all, good morning to everybody. And I thank you all for taking out time on Sunday morning. And my special thanks to Aishwarya, Kuldeep, Farhan, I'm pronouncing it Farhan, and Rutupriya, and all other organizers. And it's a pleasure to be here.
So, when we look back, so 30 years of experience with, big giants. To start off with Nestlé, you had been, very largely associated with organizations like Fujitsu and then Serum, Glenmark, or Ranbaxy. What would be or what had been that pivotal point when you had a quantum jump towards the leadership roles? Because over here, by and large, we all are in that phase where we are somewhere or the other part of the middle range of experience group, and we all look forward to having that pivotal leadership role.
Very interesting. So let me answer this in my own way. So I completed my industrial engineering in 1992, and immediately after that I got an opportunity to work with Nestlé India. So Nestlé India Moga plant was one of the largest plants of Nestlé worldwide, and the assessment of Nestlé really, the headquarters, was that the productivity of that plant in terms of labor and machine is pretty low, almost one of the lowest ones. So they deputed one operations coordinator from Bebe to India, who was made in charge of enhancing this productivity. So that was a very nice opportunity for me. I did my industrial engineering, and I got the core industrial engineering job working directly with the operations coordinator who was heading that plant at that point in time. So there were almost 13 plants in Nestlé Moga at that point in time, which which included culinaries, Maggi, milk products, these brands, infant milk and all that. So total 13 plants was there, and the manpower was approximately 5,000. And now the most interesting part was that Punjab was engulfed in the thick of terrorism in those days. And we were standing on the shop floor doing the time and motion studies of labor and machine.
Okay.
And many of those labor leaders, they used to threaten us openly. In Punjabi, there's a sentence, Shamam Chakra, sir. They used to say sir also, and they used to tell us, pick you up in the evening. Anyways, that was very interesting phase of my career. And in those 2 years, we completed the complete re-establishment of labor and machine standards of that Moga unit. And then we participated in the implementation of those standards. Now we used to have regular meetings between the management and the labor union, and I was part of the management team who used to convince those labor unions before implementing those standards. They used to tell us, you tell us how this is possible, then we have to actually stand on the line and explain them what all has to be done, how it has to be done, and how we need to reorganize the whole process. So those 2 years were a very, very interesting part of my career, and after completing all those re-establishment of those standards and implementing them, I moved on to Fujitsu. Fujitsu is a Japanese MNC. They were Fortune 50 company at that point in time, and I think still they are either for Fortune 50 or Fortune 100 on date also. So the very interesting part which Aishwarya was saying, where was the quantum jump? So for me, every change was a quantum jump, not in terms of salary or designation, in terms of my role profile. Now coming from industrial engineering, core industrial engineering job, here I was given the job of production planning and control. So I started with shop floor control and other production planning jobs, and after 1.5 years, the person who was handling the overseas procurement, he left the job, and I was given an option if I am interested in taking over that job. And always, by nature, I am always inclined to experiment new things. So I said yes. Now from industrial engineering to production planning to overseas procurement in the span of 3.5 years of initial 3.5 years of my career. So then started the overseas procurement and production planning simultaneously, and after some more time, the person who was handling the domestic procurement also left, and then they asked me to take over the complete procurement of Fujitsu Mohali plant. So now I left the production planning piece and then took over the complete domestic and overseas procurement. So I spent good 7.5 years there. Very interesting. The best part that I learned in Fujitsu was systems and processes. So Japanese, they are the strongest in systems and processes. So that was, if that word is right, I was castigated as a systems and processes person in my subsequent roles.
Nice.
So after spending good 7.5 years in Fujitsu India Telecom, I got an opportunity. Quark Media used to be the major competitor of Adobe in those times, and they were setting up their largest R&D plant in Punjab, Mohali, during that time. It was 2001.
Okay.
So I was called by them, and they had a role of commercial manager. So things worked out, and I joined Quark Media as commercial manager. Now, a Japanese MNC totally focused on systems and processes, doing electronic hardware procurement. Okay. And Quark Media role involved setting up a new facility. It was hole in the ground. From that hole in the ground, in 2 years, we were to set up an operational R&D plant. So civil, electrical, mechanical, handling with architects, consultants, those furnitures, those IT hardware, setting up swimming pools and gymnasiums.
And a complete greenfield project.
It was a complete greenfield project. So in 2 years, that was a US company, very aggressive in their timelines and budgets. So in 2 years, we made that facility completely operational. So now I was buying sand and stone also, but it was again very interesting thing. And the best part was no systems, no processes. Do whatever you want to do. This is a timeline of 24 months. You have to make this facility operational.
And I guess that was, one, I would say, very interesting point where systems are not there. Yet you have to establish. You come from a very system-oriented and very methodical kind of background, and then you have to not only do the work but do it more systematically.
Yes. Yeah. So we were setting up systems and processes whatever best was possible, knowing very clearly in mind what the management mandate is. So mandates still remain quality and timelines. Okay. So
I also would like to ask, pretty much we all have you know, got infected with COVID, and I feel those were tough days.
Yes.
Most of us were really lucky enough to sit at home, work from home. But for you, it had been extremely challenging times because you were part of Serum Institute, you were part of pharma industry. Maybe as a global procurement and an inbound supply chain head, how were you managing those times? Like, what was the one of the most toughest challenges in those days?
Yeah, very interesting. So I say it was the most constrained supply chain environment ever experienced by anyone of us alive today. Why constrained supply chain environment? 80 to 85% of their production input and capex comes from developed countries, West Europe and North America. So all these countries, they had put restrictions on export of anything related with manufacturing of COVID, whether it is equipment or the production inputs. So now the company which is depending heavily, 85% of their total procurement is coming from these parts of the world, West Europe and North America, and all these countries have imposed the export restrictions. How do we manage that? Now the role shifted altogether. Normal procurement was always there. Along with that, now we were having regular fortnightly meetings with the government of India. The petroleum minister was there. Now he's health minister. I'm not recollecting his name. Very aggressive person. Mr. Modi is, very trusted man. So he used to ask us, "Okay, you give me the commitment. How many doses you are going to give me?" So very tough times. Manufacturing is a constraint, production input is a constraint. For making 2 billion doses in 18 months, we need to set up new facilities. So we were informing him that we can give you these many doses, but for that we need these these kind of supports from you. So then they used to communicate with those governments through diplomatic routes. And then for everything, we cannot go to these senior guys, ministers, and then Mr. Taranjit Sandhu, who is now Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, he was Secretary MEA, Ministry of External Affairs. So in one or two meetings, Mr. Jaishankar was also there, and Taranjit Sandhuji was almost participating in every meeting. So now the role was more of liaising than procurement. So that was again a very paradigm shift. Then there was in US they have that one warehouse which is defense warehouse where they have almost anything and everything which is related with any kind of exigency, be it conventional war, be it biological war. So they used to have those Merck filters also. Many of the inputs which we needed for our production, that was available in their most critical defense warehouse. So we used to liaison with that Deputy Secretary of State, I'm not recollecting his name. So we used to inform him that these are the doses which we need to make, and these are the countries where we want to send these doses, and these doses are going to go to your ally country. So again, to cut it short, the role now shifted more from procurement commercial to liaising with diplomats and governments. So if I could answer your query.
So, as a leader, like since most of us aspire to be leaders in our upcoming roles, what is that toughest challenge that a person should have, or what is an outlook that person should have to manage this level of pressure, to manage so many complexities? So there are certain external, I would not say certain, there are a huge amount of external complications and constraints that you're going through. Yet there are certain internal things you have to go through. I'll not talk about the work-life balance at this moment of time, but what is that key, I would say, characteristic or a thought that a leader should have while managing such huge amount of pressure and being at the leadership role?
Again, thank you. Very interesting question. See, you have to reduce the resistance. What I mean by saying that? avoid argumentation absolutely. Drop this word from your dictionary. No arguments at all. So best way to win an argument is to avoid it.
Okay.
Just avoid that argument. Okay. If you can never win an argument. If you lose an argument, you lose an argument. If you think you have won an argument, you still have lost. Why I say so? You are winning that argument at the cost of losing a friend, eroding your credibility, eroding the trust that you had with that person, losing your peace of mind. So winning an argument is even more expensive than losing an argument. Okay, so avoid any situation, avoid getting trapped into any argumentative mode in any situation. That is one thing which I can say you. I was going through that one book, Dale Carnegie. Very nicely he put across.
Is it How to Win Friends and Influence?
Yes, you're right.
It's my favorite book.
Yeah, it is. Amazing book. So he says that whenever I get trapped into this kind of a situation, what I do is, I say, okay, I thought it otherwise. Okay? But I may be wrong. Frequently I am wrong. And I may be wrong this time also. And if I am wrong this time also, I would want to be put right. For that, let us examine the facts. Okay? So I can further add to it from my side. So you please give me your convenient time so that we can meet, and I will bring my side of the facts.
Okay.
And then we can have a very fair and dispassionate discussion. And there is every reason that we should align at the end of the discussion. What benefit you get out of this kind of conversation is the moment you say, I may be wrong, and I frequently am wrong, and I may be wrong this time also, the other person will immediately lower his guards. So in place of getting into confrontation mode, he will get into friendly mode or accommodating mode. So this is one thing which I really wanted to share with all of you. Try to get out of these kind of argumentative situations. By doing so, you will reduce the resistance. And once that resistance is reduced or gone, the same focus, the same attention, the same time will bring in much better and much more results for you.
That reminds me of a line from Government of India is like Vad se Samavad. Like how do you move or transition from a conversation, from an argument to a conversation? And that really helps to ease out on pressure. I mean I can't agree to you from this. So was there a defining moment when you realized you were becoming a leader? Like when you're going to, we have these things, okay, I'm becoming a leader.
Yeah. So my transition from being a supply chain leader to a person who's managing the show during COVID times with a single object in mind that we need to deliver 2 billion doses to the world population for good of everybody. So that brought in a paradigm shift in my overall personality, my approach, my thought process. Yeah. So that for me was a defining moment. Yeah.
Serum, definitely. COVID times have, I would say, made or given a different shape to the industry. But while the entire industry was shaping, the times were changing. Like if we see, times have been changing a lot. You have seen from the .com bubble to the 2K era to the internet boom to even the areas where we have seen COVID times. Now we are seeing the war times. Can you quote some 3 important skill sets that has been relevant maybe during your Nestlé times till date when we are sitting in like from 1992 to I would say 2026, that these are 3 important skills that every individual should have to grow in their own profession?
Yeah. First is respect the time and timelines. Second is do everything with commitment and integrity. And third most important skill is avoid the resistance. So this also I will term as a skill. So for me these are the most important 3 things.
Brilliant. And it is very rightly quoted. So we also have couple of people who are from younger professional experiences, having younger professional experiences. They might have started their career maybe 2-3 years back. So these days when I open an Instagram, something which really pops up on my feed is the stress and the burnout level that the young professionals are going through when they speak more upfrontly about work politics. I would say work politics has been always prevailing. It has been there during the times of initial corporate formations, during the multinational era. Now too, but it's now more out and more upfrontly spoken of. What advice you would give to the young professionals who get burnt out very easily for the work politics? And it is real, we cannot deny that.
I'll just pass on the advice. This is not my advice. Like Indra Nuri said, understand the work politics, but don't get involved in it. Understanding helps you escaping becoming the victim of it. Understand the office politics, but don't get involved in it. If that answers your question or not. So that is the advice which I imbibed, and that I think I want to pass on to everybody. Understand the office politics, but don't get involved in it.
Absolutely, because I feel that unless and until we don't figure out that why a person or a particular team is reacting or behaving in a certain way, we would not be able to understand their mindset, and we might not know how to change our actions and our reaction towards them.
Yes. You will understand where they are coming from, what is their actual objective, and you try to you avoid becoming roadblock to their objective. They may be having their personal agenda, they may be having their vested agenda. You focus on your object and maneuver your way through.
Absolutely.
Don't try to correct others. You just remain focused on your object and find the ways to navigate through.
Absolutely. One more thing I would like to ask is, so when I got this opportunity, the first thing, I'll be very genuine, and most of us who have done this is, we went to your LinkedIn account and we checked your profile. Like, if we are getting an opportunity to meet you, what has your what career trajectory you have gone through. And when we see so many feathers on your cap. Most of them, I do agree, are from pharma industry, but yeah, Nestlé, then Fujitsu, Ranbaxy, Serum Institute. This does gives an impression that maybe switching in an organization gives you a lead, which gives you a leadership position, which gives you a leadership role. So that is one of the I would say not myth, but that is a common practice which most of the Indian professionals have been doing. But what do you think is one of the common mistakes that people do while growing fast in their career? Because even though we see so many organizations in your bio, but we know that you have been there in that organization for a very considerable amount of time, 7.5 years and more.
Yes. Here again, very good question. For that, you need to have purpose in life. So your life purpose, then your life purpose will consist of 4 main pillars. Health, relationships, career, and money. So have a clear purpose in life, and then you, based on that purpose, you have your goals: health goal, relationship goal, career goal, and money goal. So once you define the purpose and the goals, then those goals will show you the way ahead. So don't change the jobs for small things, money, designation. You have a clear purpose in mind, clear goals in mind, and based on that goals and purpose, you can take your career decisions. That is the suggestion which I can offer. I'm not very sure if that answers.
But what kind of mistakes do you see? So, being at a leadership position, you see immediate reportees who are also leaders, and then there is an entire chain of hierarchy under you. And then everybody is just wanting to climb up. I mean, if I imagine this is a big hierarchy and everybody wants to jump one step ahead and then they end up doing mistake. What mistake do you think that they should avoid in order to, just instead of taking step by step, maybe just taking another 3 steps in a while?
Aishwarya, honestly, I cannot give any hard and fast answer to that. I will stick to my earlier suggestion. Ki take every decision with some clarity. Clarity will come from purpose and goals. So what you want in life, based on that you take a decision rather than you have some argument with your boss or you have some judgment about him or you want some immediate increase in salary. For that there are many better ways to handle those situations. Again, conversation. Open a conversation with your boss. And every boss is, when I say most of the bosses, they are always receptive to a constructive conversation. It is our apprehension that he may not listen to me, he may reject this thing. Let him reject, no? He is not end of the world. You don't lose unless you accept your loss. Okay? You never lose unless you accept your loss. So, you approach your boss or your line manager with the trust and confidence, and doors will open. If again, no hard and fast answers I have honestly, but yeah, conversation is an answer to everything, and clarity is a must, and clarity will come from your purpose and goals.
Now maybe I would like you to transition from a more corporate professional to an entrepreneurial profession.
Yes.
So what was that deflecting point? Would you like to share us?
Yeah.
Because I'm really sure there are people who are in mid professions or maybe early professional age and they are thinking, oh, okay, let's jump into an entrepreneurial role.
Yeah.
So what was that deflection point when you decided that, okay, now it's time to take another step?
Yes. So again, first you need to have that purpose and goals, and then you will get that clarity what to do when.
Absolutely.
So first is you need to have financial freedom first. Okay. Second is you need to know what you want to do in life. Okay. Now after 30 years, I always had that in mind. I will do something on my own, because the actual creativity will come only when you are not working under any systems and processes. I am not against, I am for all systems and processes, but somewhere it will constrain your thought process. Okay, that doesn't mean that systems and processes are bad. So I always had that in mind, 30 years, and if by that time I will attain my financial freedom, I would like to do something on my own, and I would like to take some risks also. And risk, quantum, and everything was also very well defined. So plus after COVID, again, somehow it happens. There was some paradigm shift in my overall thought process, seeing so many things. So then I thought, what I have already planned for 30 years, financial freedom plus. Honestly, if I can make this statement, if that doesn't give you any, incorrect signal. So I wanted to be my own boss. I thought now I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I will do my things anyways.
Perfect. So, moving from the entrepreneurial role to a personal, question. You did mention that you enjoy reading books.
Yes.
So, 2 things.
Yeah.
Are you reading a book right now? If you are reading a book right now, which book is that?
Okay.
And one book you would definitely like everybody, or at least the people who are in early professional level or mid-level professional, careers to read so that they can definitely learn and imbibe it.
Beautiful. Very nice. Right now I'm going through that Dale Carnegie's How to Influence People and Influence, and I'll recommend everybody to read that book. Second book I would recommend is that I'll WhatsApp you guys.
Sure.
That okay, fine. One more book I'll recommend you. And sorry, I missed your second part.
So I was like, which book you are reading right now?
Yes.
And which book you would recommend to young professionals?
Yeah. One book. See, I am very much inclined towards human ontology, and I have done neuro-linguistic programming master practitioner. I am. Plus, I have read many books related with human ontology, be it Rhonda Burns, be it Louis Hay, be it Jerry and Esther Hicks. So, I am not sure how much you will be able to resonate with my recommendation, but Deepak Chopra's Creating Affluence. Please go through that book, a small book. I went through its audible. I think I have heard that audible at least 100 times.
Wow.
It is a 50 minutes audible, and it was my routine during my morning walking and stretching. I just used to put those headphone on, and I listen.
Okay.
And listening itself, makes a lot of difference. As he says, just give me 1 second. Knowledge has organizing power. Okay. Just 1 minute. Because this is not NLP based, so I don't want even any word here and there. Organizing power is inherent in knowledge. Knowledge of any kind gets metabolized spontaneously and brings about a change in awareness, from where it is possible to create new realities. So listening itself creates a lot of changes within you.
Cognitive behavior.
Yes.
Absolutely. So someone who has been, very much work oriented, and someone who had been managing several level of, I would say pressure, external pressure specifically. I didn't have an idea that you were also having a conversation with, health ministry and external affairs ministry and so many people. How did you manage your work-life balance? Like, what was the, thing that was, because this is something even a lot of professionals are dealing with today. We have, some of them have 12 working hours. While I was coming to this location, one of my friends, Fariha, she mentioned that she had, calls way up till 3 a.m. Yet she showed up today. So we have some extensive working hours, so much work pressure, and we all seek for something which is called as work-life balance.
Yes, very good question. So we all set our financial freedom goals, and in fact, we transition them into financial slavery goals.
Okay.
To attain that goal, which we call financial freedom, actually we become slaves of those goals. I will be happy only if I have this much of money. I will be happy only if I get this designation. I will be happy only if I get this job in that company or whatever. We set these goals for good of us, but we end up becoming slaves of those goals. Please keep that in mind. And now, please keep that statement which I read because knowledge has organizing power. Once you understand what I said, it will start imbibing in you. Don't let your financial freedom goals transition into financial slavery goals. Now there is another term, simple daily experiences. Now this is not my idea. This is Mitesh Khatti's. I have done few programs of Mitesh Khatti also. So very nicely he explained. Now there are simple daily experiences. I like having my cup of coffee in the French press in the morning. Okay. Whatever happens, I make sure that I enjoy that cup of coffee in layer. मेरा मोबाइल फोन भी दूर रहेगा और मैं किसी और चीज में अपने आप को डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करता. I have my breakfast and a cup of coffee. That is must for me.
Okay.
Then there is a particular coffee shop where I go and like to have a cold brew. I like certain Maharashtrian mutton very much. I make sure, not a very grand place, but I make sure that once in a week I have that, either I go there or I call it. I like going on drives. At least once in a week I tend to go on a long drive, if not very long, at least outside Pune. So what I am trying to explain is that we don't know that few things which actually make us happy has got a lot of impact on our physiology. And when we are happy, we attain many things which we aspire for. Because again, not my Gyan, one of the coaches with whom I have done some work, it is all about vibrations. जिस तरह की वाइब्रेशंस हम एमिट करेंगे उस तरह की फ्रीक्वेंसी यूनिवर्सल फ्रीक्वेंसी से हम कनेक्ट होंगे the level of vibrations that we emit we get connected to the universal frequency अगर higher universal frequency के साथ अगर we are able to connect then we will manifest things of our desire we will manifest bigger things so please don't underestimate that you have to love yourself, you have to always make sure that you make yourself happy and you please do whatever makes you happy. Don't compromise with yourself and if you sacrifice your happiness for happiness of others, you will never be able to make them happy. Okay, so simple daily experience is a very important thing. Don't compromise on that. I'm not very sure if I distracted or I will answer your that question.
Absolutely, and in fact, we would like to start.
Sorry. Yes, that burning out everything is all good, but again, yeah, I think I answered to at least some extent. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, please carry on.
So from here, we'd like to take some questions from the audience. We have started already, receiving some of the questions from the audience. And one of the question, which was regarding the, financial freedom, and then you were rightly putting out that point. And there's a question from the audience, how to attain financial freedom.
Yes, you need to have a good planning. Plus, you need to have certain coaching of it. Without that, it will become very difficult and there is a high probability that you may go wrong. It's a very, very specialized subject. So go for some wealth management coaching. Please do go for some wealth management coaching. In today's online world, it is not very expensive, but that will help you a lot. And when I went for that kind of a coaching, I actually realized that if I better manage my own wealth, I can earn much more than what I'm trying to by doing different things. Yeah, please go for specialized professional coaching of wealth management.
Sure. There is another question that has come to us from the audiences. Did you feel that you are stuck at some moment of time, and how did you manage from there?
Yes.
I think this is a very relevant question because there are many times when you feel stuck.
Yes.
As a mid-level professional or maybe as a leader.
Yeah. I was stuck. Honestly, God had been very kind, but still, when I spent 7 years in Glenmark, then I was thinking I had to do something different, something new, because I spent 5 years in Ranbaxy and 7 years in Glenmark. So 12 years of pharma dose work was quite substantial for me because I like experimenting, I like doing new things. So I was not finding that thing very challenging, and when I was not finding that challenging, so I was not finding that interesting. Then came Serum and I immediately switched to it, and I didn't switch to Serum for any designations or money, though it came. But yeah, that is when I was actually thinking other opportunities keep coming, and I was going for those transitions. But yeah, if I can answer,
sure.
Yeah, because I was not finding that job challenging anymore, so I thought of transitioning.
So meanwhile, I'm taking up questions from the audience. You can go ahead and type your question on the chat board, and it will reach out to me, or chat box, and it will reach out to me. There's another question that has come to us is, how do you personally stay future ready and keep learning?
Yes, very, very important question this is. If you guys must be ahead. Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. Now we are in Industry 5.0, which is artificial intelligence. Before that it was 4.0, which was software driven. Before that it was 3.0, electronic hardware, or 2.0, industrialization, and 1.0 before that. So when we transition from 1.0 to 2.0, 2.0 to 3.0, 3.0 to 4.0, and 4.0 to 5.0, that time of transition was compressing. Earlier, one more lasted for example, 30 years. Two more lasted for 22 years. Three more maybe for maybe lesser. Now, further from 5 on of industry 5.0 onwards, this transition to next level will keep compressing. This AI phase may last for 15 years only. So for all of us, especially for you younger people, unlearning is most important for you guys. Always be ready to unlearn and relearn. Unlearn and relearn. Don't have rigidity at all. There is no place of rigidity in this world and the world which is expected to come further. That is, was I able to answer that?
Absolutely, and I feel unlearning is so important because at a mid-professional level, experience level, the rudimentary thought process that we were being engraved with during my initial career, and the way I'm as in when progressing in my career, I would definitely relate to it. That unlearn is so much important, and you have to cut off those old thought processes, and you should be always accommodative and taking up the new thoughts. There's another question that has come: how to keep growing without hitting a plateau?
How to keep growing without hitting a plateau? Okay, good. No hard and fast answer I have. Again, I'll come back. Have a purpose in life, have goals in life, and okay, where I am heading, where I have to reach, and that will give you a fair idea what to do when you have to make a transition, when you have to find new opportunities within your existing system. So this is what I feel if I am able to answer your question.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's another follow-up question onto this: how to build credibility and leadership presence in the organization?
Most important. Yes. How to build credibility and leadership, trust. See, again, I'll repeat those things which you said what are most important. First is respect the time and timelines. Have high integrity and do everything with total commitment. And I missed one statement in Serum. So you said when you thought you have now this paradigm shift. Okay, anyways. So during those COVID times, I realized that I have came out of that supply chain silo on my own. Then it was not I was not a supply chain man. I was just part of a team who was entrusted the job of delivering 2 billion doses to the world population. So I was not into this, that cross-functional awareness automatically came in. It is not this is my job or that is not my job. It is all our job, and we all have to do it together. Okay, do I deflect from what you asked?
No, you're pretty much going.
So these 3 things I would say: timelines, integrity, and total commitment.
Okay, commitment. Yeah.
Because for you to become a leader, trust is most important. Unless your people trust you, whatever designation, whatever authority, whatever power you may be getting from your management, they are not going to accept you from their hearts. They will accept you only if they find you authentic. And authenticity will come only from respecting timelines, integrity, and commitment.
Absolutely. And can I go ahead and add something to it?
Please.
Yeah. So when I was, associated with John Deere, one of my lead came to me and said, Ashwin, don't think that you are just working on a single project. If you are being given something, you don't think that your heads are inside the laptop and you're working. It is that you are also projecting your aura, and that's what I'm taking from what you said is people are observing you. People are observing you, and it's not just your peers, it is not just your managers, it is someone who is just from another team sitting right across the table. It is some other leader who is just observing you, by getting inside the cabin, moving out, walking. It can be anyone. If you are there sitting in your desk, everybody is observing you, and you have to all the time, do what you say. And really feel that that's really
Yes.
important.
Do what you say what you do.
Absolutely. There's another question that has come up. This is something related to supply chain. The question is, what makes an exceptionally well supply chain professional? What makes you someone who is exceptionally well in the supply chain?
Actually, your fundamentals remain same.
Okay.
Fundamentals remain same. Honestly, I don't have any hard and fast answer for this. Your fundamentals remain same. If you respect timelines, you are committed, you operate with high level of integrity, you will be successful in any stream, be it supply chain or any other.
Okay. Last question is, and maybe if someone would like to put up something from the audience, we can take it up also. One mindset shift that can accelerate anyone's growth.
One mindset shift that can accelerate anyone's growth.
I think I it will be person to person, but
No, Aishwarya, please bear with me.
Sure.
Fundamentals remain same.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Again, I don't have any hard and fast answer for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. So with this, we would like to take questions from the audience. We have Ritu.
So I have two questions. First question is that while attaining the financial freedom, sometimes it happens that when it comes to entrepreneurship, in attaining that financial freedom, we might lay back in starting your own things, like from the entrepreneurial aspect. How do we decide that this is the correct time and this much of financial freedom is okay, or having this much of asset with you, now we can like go ahead, even if you don't have that big goal, because the larger goal of financial freedom would be different.
Yes.
But having the moderate financial freedom, and then how do we decide that? So that we should not.
You should have the passive income. When you can manage a passive income which can at least maintain your present lifestyle, or maybe the enhanced one, whatever your thought process is, what you want. So when you can manage a passive income which should at least be able to maintain your present lifestyle for the times to come, that can be a one benchmark. The rest all depends on individual aspirations.
Yes. And another question I'm having is, that was somewhat covered through the different questions. Aishwarya mentioned about the plateau in a career. I also want to know that how do we come out of that stagnancy phase in career, where you are comfortable with your current job, salary is also increasing very nicely, but there is not the exponential growth that you have planned might be.
Yes. When you have that purpose and goals, it will itself keep giving you the clarity.
But then there is this care, this little bit fear of risk taking that happens.
Yes.
So
that is your risk appetite, you have to enhance it. If a very nice statement of Deepak Chopra from Creating Affluence. Inherent in having a desire lies the seed and mechanics of its fulfillment. Have faith, have trust in yourself and the universe. आप उतना ही सपना देख सकते हैं जितना आप पूरा करने की क्षमता रखते हैं. ओके, मत डरिए. Inherent in having a desire lies the seed and mechanics of its fulfillment. Or the seed and mechanics of fulfillment of desires are depend upon what we call it power of knowledge, Gyan Shakti, power of intention, Ichha Shakti, and power of self, Atma Shakti, power of transcendence, and power which is power of self, power of demand, वो आत्मा शक्ति है. ठीक है, आप में उतनी इच्छा शक्ति है, उतना ज्ञान आप प्राप्त कर चुके हैं, कर सकते हैं, और उतना आपका सेल्फ स्ट्रॉन्ग है. What I'm trying to say is कि आप उतना ही ड्रीम करने की क्षमता रखते हैं जितना आप ड्रीम अचीव करने की काबिलियत रखते हैं. ये एक फैक्ट है ब्रह्मांड का. And this is again Deepak Chopra's inherent in having a desire lies the seed and mechanics of its fulfillment. अंबानी और आपकी क्षमता काबिलियत किसी चीज में कोई फर्क नहीं है, सिर्फ उनका सपना देखने का और रिस्क लेने का एपेटाइट ज्यादा है आपसे या मेरे से. दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव अंडरस्टूड ओंटोलॉजी में बहुत पढ़ के या काम करके कि सपने देखिए और उसको पूरा करने के लिए चलिए, डरिए मत. God will be with you. Thank you.
Very beautiful. This brings me to another question, which audience has asked us, and this is something related to college life. Like, which is your best memory from the college?
Oh. After the exams, we used to go to Paramount Dhaba. We used to leave our hostel around 9 o'clock. ये देखो ना हाईवे अपन जब निकलते थे ना नागपुर सिटी से बाहर, it was on highway towards which side? तो वहाँ पे I think it used to take 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So we used to go there. We used to reach there by 10 in the night. Then we used to spend good time till 4-5 a.m. and we used to come back. So एक अलग ही वो मजा था which we miss nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any more questions from audiences? Yeah, please go.
So I think it is it's an extremely fast-paced world, and I would like to think that we are all moving in sixth gear. It is extremely accelerated in terms of learning and in terms of growth. Where I'm coming from in terms of the perspective of a young professional, we have so much to learn, and the more you try learning, the more you realize that the ocean is still vast ahead.
Yes.
There is still so much.
Yes.
What are some shortcuts, because we tend to go to that direction? What are some of the shortcuts that a person must avoid, and what is the key of actually at least feeling that we are growing in the right direction? Because nobody knows what the right direction is. Is it hard work? Is it hard work mixed with visibility? So, what are some shortcuts that we must avoid, and what are some do's that we must follow?
No hard work, only smart work. Only smart work. Where from you are getting the right output, which is aligning with your object. Few days back, I was having one session with my coaches. So she was having a lot of trouble, and I realized it was all resistance. She was getting trapped into confrontations and arguments. So then I asked a few key questions, and one of them was, you always need to realize where the actual power lies. Okay, power doesn't mean always authority or designation. ये आपको अपना मीटिंग है, इसमें ये आपका प्रपोजल है. फॉर यू टू गेट थ्रू योर प्रपोजल, whose views or support matters you most. So that those are few things you need to keep in mind when I say smart work. I just try to give one example. What is smart work? You need to realize whom should I approach, when should I approach, how should I approach, so that I get done with what I want to do. I know I'm not very sure if I am able to answer what you said, but smart work, shortcuts क्या avoid किए जाए, मतलब when integrity है तो it itself answers so many questions. Does this align with my definition, my thought of integrity? If it is not aligning, it is a shortcut, avoid it. ये मैं 15 मिनट डिले हो जाऊँ, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? No, I have to respect my and other times. ये एक shortcut है कि तो तीसरा वर्ड. So these are a few fundamental guiding principles जो मैंने हमेशा they had been at center of my thought process. So those three things have always helped me avoid any shortcut. And I'm sorry, I could not give you any very specific answer, but I am repeatedly saying fundamentals remain same. Here also I will maintain the same thing. I don't. Yeah. So these are my pillars. You define your pillars in life, and always have that checklist. कि ये मेरे 3 fundamental जो values हैं, जो thoughts हैं, उससे contradict कर रहा है, तो that is a shortcut for you. If it is aligning with that, it is the right way for you.
Absolutely, makes sense. And if I can also again take you back down the memory lane, were you a sincere, studious kind of a person back in your college days, or you used to have your own fun times?
Maybe we used to have our own fun times, but by nature, I'm very studious and meticulous. I just have everything jotted down. The next year I go through that list. Although I don't recommend anybody to follow or unfollow. That always had been my nature. But everybody has his or her own nature, and you should never contradict with it. Go by your flow in life, because God has made you like that, and that is the best way forward for you to do. You asked me, so I said, I was studious also. I used to have a lot of fun also, and I am very meticulous. Yeah.
Just to intervene, I switch off question first.
Oh.
If somebody wants to ask a question directly, also they can ask it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the audience has any direct question, they can go ahead and raise their hands and unmute themselves. Meanwhile, we take a question from the audience.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions. One thing before I start, your life and my life, it matches a lot. That is what I can.
Yeah.
I also left my job and
Yes.
started with entrepreneurship, and still that journey is continuing. So because there are quite a few questions related to entrepreneurship. You said you wanted to have freedom, you wanted to pursue your passion, etc. etc. But what advice would you give to people? Because a lot of people think, and that is what I have been also asked the same questions, that we want to quit the job because there is some issue here, there is a lot of bonding,
Yes.
all these things, right?
Yeah.
But while quitting the job, there is nothing in view, nothing in picture that what really what you want to do and how you really want to do.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice when making such choices for these generations? Because people, they are thinking, everybody thinks the same thing, that okay, I want to quit the job and do something of my own.
Yes.
But what care they should take while making such decisions, apart from financial freedom?
Yes.
Personally, I am more busy than job today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
More busy than what I was in the job.
yes.
There are a lot of things. I'm not sure about you. Maybe you can share that as well. But please advise on this.
First, you tell me, being more, you are busier now than you were before. Still, you are enjoying it, or you feel that was better?
No, I'm enjoying it.
Okay, good. So I will not give any advice. I will only share my experience. So I had set my standard of living. I should be able to attain this standard of living with my passive income first. Second is whatever business I am trying to get into, this is the percentage of my total cash asset that I will allocate to that business. And even if I lose the complete capital, my defined standard of living will remain. So that was my very simple mathematical formula. This is the capital I am allocating for my business, and this is the total risk that I will take in that. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, still it's fine. So it may not be ideal for everybody, but I shared my thought on that.
Yeah, my question is, while choosing the profession, while quitting it and then you are choosing something. So what is the advice? Whatever you chose, was there a certain idea in mind to make that, or like there's something to do?
Okay, I'll tell you. Again, you may not be a very specific answer to your question. Don't get tempted to quit your job. Don't get tempted to quit your job. Be very practical. उसने कर दिया, वो सक्सेस हो गया, वो खुश है, किसने क्या किया, खुश है नहीं है, उसने क्या कैपेबिलिटी थी, उसकी क्या प्लानिंग थी, उसका कितना रोबस्ट प्लान था. You don't know the person's world. Don't get tempted to quit the jobs. Be very clear. Set your own standards. Have your own very firm thought process, and be very practical in taking this decision. That is the general suggestion which I can give. Many people quit their jobs just out of temptation or just without any robust plan in place. Please don't do that.
And the second question I had, are we overspending the time?
I'm just looking at it because Google Meet has a certain defined time window. So I'm checking out, but you can carry out with your
We can go for 2 hours, 3 hours. No, I know, I have been using it.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, So, it is not for me, but for
Please. This is a general conversation. We are all colleagues sharing our views with each other. Yeah.
So, from career point of view, many people they are just part of the flow. They get into a job and the way the things run, they simply progress and wherever they reach it.
Yes.
But in certain cases like yours, people make some conscious decisions, or at least they are inquisitive, they are curious about making certain conscious decisions.
Yes.
So I would like to understand that part, which will make a difference between a person who is following a normal path and somebody who is inquisitive and progressing.
Yes, yes. Again, I'll come back to purpose and goals. That will answer your almost every query regarding every part of your life, be it personal, relationships, career, and money. What goals you have set for your career? That will show you the way forward. What goals you have set for your financial freedom? हर एक किसी का अलग होगा, किसी को 10 करोड़ चाहिए to maintain his present, किसी को 2 करोड़ चाहिए. So again, I am not very sure if I am able to answer specifically, but if you set the right goals, which actually align and resonate with your thought process, then those things will give answers to many of your queries. That is what I can say right now.
So is it appropriate to interpret that somebody who is really having some goals in mind should always be conscious and aware that I have this goal and really strive to achieve those. Otherwise, being just a part of the flow, he may not be really a good person.
See, the 3 fundamental principles which I have set for myself and 4 goals and 1 purpose which I have set for myself, वो मुझे सब आंसर दे देता है. ओके, मेरे गोल्स, मेरा पर्पस गोल्स और मेरे लाइफ के जो नॉन नेगोशिएबल प्रिंसिपल्स हैं वो मुझे उत्तर दे देते हैं. मुझे ज्यादा जद्दोजहद करनी नहीं पड़ती है. Honestly, मतलब that's honest.
Okay.
Sure.
On this note of having purpose, goals, and being determined towards it, I would take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. We will continue the question answer rounds for the physical session where we have people around over here. But thank you so much for finding out time on this have a pleasant Saturday, I would say, where everybody just wants to sit back and relax. And I would also like to thank all the audience who joined and put up their questions across. Much appreciate your time and your effort. We will be looking forward to having more such sessions and more such conversation. Thank you guys. I'll be closing the chat.
Great, and thank you so much. And again, Deepak Chopra's last quote I will say, deep inside each of us lies a God in embryo. It has only one desire, it wants to be born. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.